Hi, Liz here. The card today I'm making is with Lavinia stamps and stencil and also with a Sweet Poppy stencil, which is a Lavinia image. I made it one similar for my sister the other day and everybody seemed to be quite liking it, so I thought I'd show you the process. So the base of the card is 5x7 and I made a inner section that I'm going to use to do the design on, which is 4.5 inches by 6.5. This is a really super smooth card that I have in my stash. So like I said, I'll show you how I did it. I'm hoping that you'll be able to see very clear. A bit white on white's not very good. Right, so I'm going to start with the Sweet Poppy stencil, which is fairy pods and some gesso, white gesso. So I'm going to get a little bit out and just smooth it down. This particular bit that I do, I'm not bothered about it being too smooth, to be honest. I quite like the fact that it has a little bit of texture to it. And I usually just take a piece of washing up sponge, trim it down. It nearly went into the pot, then that wouldn't be very good, would it? And I'm doing this all wrong, as you can see, but anyway. So, what I also need, maybe this should be what you don't do. Right, so I have a piece of magnetic sheet here. Now, if I put that on like that, I'll hardly be able to move this stencil. So what I like to do is to put the stencil on roughly where I want it to be, which is like that, and then pop it onto the magnetic sheet. And you can then just move it around a little bit, but it's a bit easier for me, I find, than trying to just put it down and start straight away. So now we get to this bit. Oh, we'll get there in the end. Sorry, excuse my dogs. I have a 12-month-old puppy and she just loves to bark when people go past. And people go past a lot. So trying to do a video without that is nigh on impossible. So I hope you'll forgive it. So basically I'm just dabbing through the stencil with the piece of foam with the gesso on. Do excuse my dog, like I said. Now, all I want this to be is just a bit of texture in the background of the card. So I'm not too bothered about it being ultra perfect. And also, as you may have already seen, my stencil was already full of gesso. That was because when I made it the other day, I couldn't find my cleaning brush, to want of a better word. And by the time I'd found it, the gesso had dried on the stencil. So I today have a bit of water with some washing up liquid in, and I've put it in to hopefully not get any more on. I'm hoping it won't make a difference to the stencil. I don't think it will. I think quite sure when I'm doing other bits and bobs of putting just ink through, it'll be fine. Right, now I don't know. You can probably not see this. But like I said, the point is to be a very, very fine background image anyway. So, just move me mat and just let that dry off a few seconds while I tell you what else I'm using. Right, the card I made the other day, I used this gorgeous Lavinia stencil, which is the Flora stencil. I love this. I think it's really, really, really lovely. And I also used, for stenciling through it, some broken china distress ink and some antique linen. And I also, just excuse me a minute while I get a brush. I thought I was good, so organised, and I'm really not. So anyway, take a piece of scrap paper and just trying to make sure that my brush is fairly clean. And I'm going to start with the antique linen. Both my dogs have decided to come into the room now, so anything, we'll see what happens. Anything might go. Anyway, just going to see. Yeah, that is already dry. Because it's such a very fine layer, it really dries really quickly. So I'm going to start now with and I'm putting the bottom of the card higher than the bottom of the stencil, because I want it to not show this at the bottom. I'm taking the antique linen and then holding the stencil roughly in place, just going round it like this. Oops, which I think has already moved, but it doesn't matter. And then I wanted the base of the antique linen to look a little bit like a base. So basically I've done like an L shape, basically, where it's just along, going up slightly and across to the right. Now I personally don't have a brush for each colour, so using the same brush, just dab a bit off, and again holding, and again going over roughly what I've been, but going up and across. Just using light flicking motions when I get further up. And then what you'll find is where the two colours meet, it turns it more of a green colour, which I quite like the look of at the base. Now then, I probably should have stuck that stencil down with some of the fabulous Lavinia, some of the Sweet Poppy stencil tape, because it's really good. But yeah, I haven't moved, so that's okay. Can't guarantee anything, I tell you. Right, now then, you'll have to forgive me a minute, because I've also not got my stencil handy, which wasn't very clever, was it? I really tried to be so organised, and I'm really not, as you can see. Right, so I have this moon stencil, which I have in my stash. Lavinia Stamps does one, I believe, that looks really nice, and a couple of sizes in it as well, I think. Not too sure about that, but anyway, I had one in my stash, so. And then basically, using the same brush, but with no extra on, I just went round the outside. Using the colours that were mixed. Just to give that bit of a hint of colour. Yeah, that's fine. So that's your moon effect. I wanted this particular card to look a little bit like a wintry night sky effect. Our birthdays are the beginning of the year, mine included, and we always laugh and say that we're always going to snow on our birthdays, which, believe it or not, one year it did, where it snowed on my sister's birthday, and 2 weeks later, after having no snow in between, it snowed on mine, and I think we'll remember that forever. Anyway, I'm digressing there, sorry. Right, so at this stage, we've done the stenciling. Now you could go over and take some of the gesso off on the stencil bit that you've got there, but I just like it to give a hint of the texture as well. So I left it as it was. Right, I'll just clear this away and I'll get my stamp press, because if I don't, knowing me, I'll probably finish up stamping it wrong and then I'll have to start all over again, which I might have to start all over again anyway, but we'll see. Wouldn't be at all surprised. Right, so I have a Timol stamp press. Other people have different ones. It doesn't matter. They all work the same. So, taking this gorgeous Lavinia stamp, which is Felicity. I only have a few stamps at the moment. I treated myself with some Christmas money. Now, I love them that much that I've ordered, my husband gave me some money to order some more for my birthday. But that's not for about a week and a half, so I haven't got those yet. So watch this space. And I'll be able to make most silly videos that go all wrong. Right, so I'm using the VersaFine Clair in Nocturne. Hoping I don't drop it, because I sometimes do that too. And inking it up with quite a few light taps. That way then, hopefully the ink doesn't go on the other bit of the stamp, but she's nicely inked up. It doesn't look too bad. We'll see where we've gone on with that. And we'll leave it just down for a bit to soak into the paper and see how that is. Yeah, good job. Good job. I put it on the stamp press. Maybe I need to just press a little bit harder. So we'll go again. And I'll press a bit harder this time and see what happens. Would you believe it? The one I made for my sister, it went perfect first time. Isn't it always the way? But what do we say in crafting? Never give up. And there we go this time, because I used the stamp press thing, I managed to do it again and it's worked out fine. She's lovely. Right, I'll put that to the side. I'll clean that after. So, we're getting on quite a good bit here. So I'll just bring the paper back in. Hoping that you can still see. Put my lid on me. Right, now then. What I did on the card that, like I said, that I did for my sister, I then wanted to add some glitter effects. So I have this Deco Art Glamour Dust crystal glitter that, honest to God, I've had in my stash since I started crafting way too many years ago to tell you. I can't remember actually, but it's a long time. And I use the Zig two-way glue pen because that's what I have in my stash. And basically, I just went along her wing effects. I did try just a glue pen, but I found that the glue couldn't be seen. The sparkle couldn't be seen unless you had it laid flat. And I thought, well, when is a card laid flat? When you give it to somebody, they always have it stood up, don't they? So just brush the excess glitter away from her hair. And as you can see, her wings now, hopefully you can see. Can you see? Oh yeah, her wings are all glittery. Now then, I also just added a couple of dots of the glue. And when it comes out, sprinkled it over for some furry wishes. Don't know if you can see that. Can you see that? Oh yeah, just about. This is the thing with glitter. It doesn't really show very good. Right, now then. I then went around the edge of the moon shape. And as you can see, you can't do it with a straight line for the love of it, but it makes it unique, doesn't it? And then that really is behind the foliage, so I'll leave that other section. Still will give the effect, just looks like the foliage is in front of the moon, which I quite like. Because I'm on video, as you can tell, a bit nervous, don't know why. Not like there's anybody here with me, is it? But anyway, so again, there's no way I'm going to try and put that back in the pot while I'm on video, because I'm telling you now, it will go everywhere. Right, so I've nearly finished what I did. So, but I'm hoping you can see this, because I've not noticed. I've got a bit of a shadow there. Anyway, we'll see what happens, and if I have to do another, I have to do another. So, on the what card I made for my sister, I came across with the glue. And this is where I like the zig pen for this, because it's a bit thicker. Just basically did some lines where one is a little bit longer than the other, and it goes in and on the outside of the moon. And hopefully, not very straight, so see if I can straighten them and point them a little bit. There we go. So we finish up with the glitter effect. Then I literally just grounded her a bit. Now what did I do to ground her? Oh, just 2 seconds, sorry. You could do it with a, I think last time did it with a pencil or thingy, but I haven't just got one to hand. So all I'm doing is doing some lines like this. Basically, to ground her. This isn't really the colour I would have used. I would have used one more that was brownish, but this is the only one I can find just to hand. And I might have used a distress ink rather than a Copic, but it doesn't matter. And there we go. That was just a lighter colour than the first one to blend it more, just to give some shade, appearance of shade. Probably that light, you probably can't even see it. Probably you can't even, no, I don't think you can. Oh well, it is there. It is there. You saw me do it. It is there. And then, literally, I quite liked it like that, so I left it like that. And then it would literally just be placed onto the base of the card, either flat, or sometimes I put a piece of cardboard that I've cut down to size underneath. That raises it up, and I stick the cardboard to the card and the paper to the other side of the cardboard. And or as in the case of what for my sister, who likes quite casual and definitely not fussy or fancy. I just left it flat. You'll never believe this, but I was a fussy and fancy girl 8 years ago when I first started. If you look back at my stuff, it's really fussy and fancy, and I don't know, I seem to have gone completely off it somehow. Anyway, so there we go. Just goes to show that you adapt and move stuff and change the way that you are. I personally think that's enough glitter, but you could put a bit underneath her or add some to her boots or whatever if you wanted to. So there we go. I'll have to have a look at this on my video editor and see if it's any good. I hope that it is, and hopefully it's okay. So if it is, I shall say see you soon. Bye.